If you're on a budget and need to buy your first helmet, or you just simply want to replace your old one, then you're in the right place, as we're going to be taking a look at a handful of flip front modular helmets that won't lighten the load on your wallet too much, but also keep your head safe. So let's dive straight in with our very first helmet from that well-known and trusted brand, Spada. So the Orion's actually Spada's latest flip front helmet in its 2022 lineup, and let me tell you, it's got some great features like a P&J homologation that we'll come to shortly. But to start with, like all our helmets today, the Orion's been tested to the latest ECE 2205 safety standards and been awarded the certificate. That means the Orion's road legal, and more importantly that you're gonna have your head in a safe place. So if you're already a rider, you probably know that one of the biggest problems with helmets in winter is when the visor fogs up. So along with its removable breath guard, the Orion actually has a twin intake chin vent that helps direct air up towards the visor, hopefully keeping it clearer, while its crown vent situated towards the top of the helmet allows air to pass into the helmet and be circulated through its channeled EPS liner until it's eventually exited through one of its two exhaust vents, which will help to keep your head cooler on some of the hotter days. So the Spada's chin strap is actually a micrometric fastener, as we can see here, which basically means that you're going to get a really good fit every single time you use this helmet, and of course, as we can see, it's a quick release unit as well. Now, as we know, the internal sunshade's becoming pretty much integral to most decent helmets nowadays, and the Orion actually has one, and it's just operated by a little lever on the side. And let me tell you, if you are new to biking, having an internal sunshade is pretty much a must nowadays, as it's great for keeping the sun out your eyes, especially on late afternoons or early in the morning. So the Orion actually has a fully removable and washable and sanitizable interior, including the cheek pads, the crown cap, and actually what we have here, which is a little removable chin curtain. So as we know, the Orion's a flip front, and to operate it we just have a little lever on the front which we pull down, which releases the mechanism and allows you actually to put the helmet into the up position. Now, I mentioned earlier about the P&J homologation. Now what that means is it's actually legal to ride this helmet with the flip front up, because it has a little lever on the side here which we can push up that actually locks the flip front in place, which is basically what you need if you want to ride with it open like some people do. Now, like most decent helmets nowadays, the Orion has a quick release visor mechanism that's operated by the little lever on the side here. Now, I'm not going to bother doing it, but let me tell you, it is an easy one to do, and having the ability to take the visor off easily and install it is really great for, let's say for instance, cleaning the visor or changing it to a smoked visor if you so wish. And as we said earlier, it is Spada's latest addition to its 2022 lineup, and it is a very decent helmet that's going to cost you somewhere in the region of a little over £100, depending on whether you go for graphic or a solid colour. But if you don't have that sort of money to spend on a helmet, now let's take a look at another helmet that's pretty much got all these features but costs considerably less. Okay, so our next helmet's from a relatively new brand called Modular, but don't let that fool you into thinking they don't know what they're doing, because the people behind this helmet are also behind one of the best known budget helmet brands in the world, being Nitro. So this new helmet from Modular has all the hallmarks of a helmet that should cost much more, but as it's the new kid on the block, it's also got a very handy accessory thrown in for free that we'll come to in a bit. So like all our helmets today, the Delta's been tested to the same safety standards that our last helmet, the Orion, was subjected to, and let me tell you, it obviously passed. So again, it has that all-important ECE 2205 sticker to its name, which, as we said earlier, gives you a very safe place to put your head. So like the Delta, of course, the Orion also has a quick release visor that's operated by just pushing this little button in and releasing the visor. Again, I'm not going to bother doing it because they are all easy to do, like I said. The Delta also has that all-important sunshade that's operated by a little lever just to the side. So the ventilation on this helmet's taken care of by your chin vent to the front, so that, as we said earlier, directs air up to the internal visor that helps to keep it clear. And like our last helmet, it also has a crown vent that puts air into the top of the helmet to be circulated round and eventually expelled through the exhaust vents, which again, we said earlier, is going to keep your head cool. So when it comes to the makeup of the helmet, it's made of a custom designed multi-polytech shell with an EPS internal liner that all helps to keep the weight down of this helmet to a very respectable 1750 grams, which, to be honest with you, is probably a little under what you'd find with most flip front helmets at this price. So like many other helmets, the Midas flip front's operated by a little thumb button just underneath the chin, and can be pulled up and pushed into place by pulling up firmly on the chin bar. So the Delta has what we call a 3D mesh internal liner that's been specifically designed to help let your head breathe. That's going to help reduce sweating and obviously keep your head comfortable. And of course, not to mention stopping your helmet starting to smell like a cheese factory. However, if you do want to give the inside of this helmet a good clean, everything is removable, including the crown cap, the liner, and of course the cheek pads. Now for all you guys that don't like messing around with double D-rings, the Delta also gets one of those micrometric chin strap fasteners that we found on our last helmet that helps to make sure that you get the perfect fit every time you fasten the chin strap. So one of the things that we really liked about the Delta was that very handy accessory that we mentioned earlier that comes in the shape of a free Pinlock 70 anti-fog insert. Now for any of you guys that don't know what one of these is, basically it's like double glazing for your helmet, which means your visor's going to stay clear and have no fog on it even on the coldest of days, which believe me is a big bonus if you ride a lot. So the helmet itself actually comes in 6 different sizes, being extra small through to double extra large, which again a double extra large is quite unusual for a budget helmet. And get this, retails, including one of these visors, at a very respectable $79.99, which probably means it's today's best value for money helmet. But just to be completely transparent about this, don't let that fool you into thinking that that's the helmet you should buy, because to be honest with you, I think our next helmet is probably my favourite. I'd also like to give a massive shout out to MSG BikeGear, who've sponsored today's review, not to mention they've also given us the go-ahead to give a 10% discount on all today's helmets. There's more about that in the description. So as you may know, GMAC have been around for some time now and are noted for making some of the best budget-friendly helmets out there. And with this helmet, the new Concept Evo, they've definitely not skimped on quality. And they've definitely come up with the goods again on yet another affordable helmet. So as a quick recap, this helmet, like our last 2 helmets, has had the latest ECE 2205 safety standards awarded to it, is made from the same material as the Mitre Delta and has the all-important sunshade with an anti-scratch external 3D moulded visor that's pinlock ready, a top crown vent that circulates air freely around the interior of the helmet that helps you to keep a cool head. Literally speaking, that is. But after that, we think it's got the edge on the remaining features of the other 2, starting with its flip front mechanism. As we found, like most GMAC helmets, it has a glide smooth operation of the chin bar that's really easy to use even with the thickest of gloves on. And one of the things we really found very appealing about the helmet is how comfortable it is, as it actually has probably just the upper edge over the Mitre Delta in the comfort stakes, as its liner's made of, I don't know, it just seems to be made of better material that give it a slightly better fit, comfort and feel. And as well as having a chin vent on the front that obviously directs air towards the visor to stop that from steaming up, it also has a secondary chin vent just at the front here that directs air towards the mouth if required. A quick release micrometric fastener and a removable chin curtain help to make this today's best quality helmet in our opinion. However, that quality does come at a price, as it's also today's most expensive helmet, retailing at around $129.99. But don't forget, like all today's helmets, you can get 10% off this helmet if you use one of the links in the description below. If you're into biking and want to have a look at some of the latest 125 models around, this video here will be good for you. If you found this review useful, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want. My name's Bobby Max. I'm out of here.